Tommy, what concerns me so much when I hear that, and he's so not alone in this kind of rhetoric, is that it excuses away a violent, horrific crime, and also can inspire those who are unstable and ready to take action because they hear it as orders.
They hear it as orders, and I think that a lot of the folks that listen to that little waste of space twerp, Hasan Piker, they don't understand that he's monetizing this, by the way. So he's saying these things that maybe he believes, maybe he doesn't, maybe he adds an extra layer of filth on it for a little more money. They're making money off of saying these disgusting things, right? And so he sits there in his little podcast mic, and to me, he's a worthless waste of space. However, the First Amendment protects his right to be a worthless waste of space. That's why it's incumbent upon parents now more than ever to know what your kids are watching, to have honest discussions at home, make sure that they're not watching people like that and getting horrible ideas in their head. I understand if you're 31 years old, your parents aren't going to have a lot of influence, but we need to have parents when kids are younger and most impressionable, making sure they know what their kids are consuming.
Yeah, and also there's this celebration culture over just the idea of something happening to the president and others in his administration.
And mockery.
And mockery. And Joey, there's this business you were going to tell us about in Wisconsin, kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, so on that topic, I mean, you saw the things that came out about Charlie Kirk and how people mocked his death. And then you look over at President Trump, who I guess is enemy number one for them. And that's the problem, is that's what they truly believe. Right. There's this guy's name is Kirk Bangstad. He owns a brewery in Wisconsin. It's called the Minocqua Brewing Company in Wisconsin. This is their tweet. It says, well, we almost got #Free Beer Day. Either a brother or sister in the resistance needs to work on their marksmanship, or he faked another assassination to get a positive news cycle. We'll never know. Regardless, we stand at the ready to pour free beer the day it happens. Cheering for, hoping for, offering an incentive to kill the president of the United States. This isn't just a brewery owner. This guy is running or ran for the State Assembly District 34 against a Republican. He's also, there are videos of him laughing, cutting it up with his friend who is the leading Democrat for the Wisconsin gubernatorial race. So that's how deep this goes. I mean, just like with Hasan Piker, the difference with President Trump is when he has a Nick Fuentes come into Mar-a-Lago and somebody says, hey, this is who this really is, he tells him to get out. He doesn't, they dangle the carrot of, oh, you can reach these people. President Trump has a hard line, and it's not to consort with people that do these types of things.
Well, don't forget 8647. You know, Cardinal Comey's discovery out on a beach.
Just a prior FBI director.
Yeah, just happened to be wandering down a beach and see something like that. Again, if you play footsie with these ideas, I think you nailed it. You never know how some people will receive that information. They may see someone joking about it, whether it's a podcaster or someone else making light of the fact that there have been these attempts, oh, they just barely missed him. Someone else might get out there and decide, well, I won't. And this is the real sickness that's engulfed our political discourse in this country. We've got to stop it, and stop it now, because I'm really concerned, not just while he's in office. This may continue even after he's out of office, and this is not what we want for our country, because it won't just be this president. It'll be the next and the next if we don't nip this in the bud now.
Yeah, and Tommy, one last thing. I'm so concerned about the putting these suspects on pedestals, and I'm concerned that's coming as well.
Yeah, for some dark corners of the internet that are just disgusting. And again, you got to balance the First Amendment with what we would hope would be, you know, the moral decency of people. To your point, this long list, I'm hearing a lot of Democrats and others on the left say, we condemn political violence, but, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The bullets only seem to be flying one way. Now, I'm not saying you can't find an instance where they're flying the other way. You sure can. But when you look at this pattern of events, you look at what the Virginia candidate who wanted to do horrible things to the grave of children.
Right. Yeah.
Elected, right? So you look at this pattern of events from Charlie Kirk to President Trump to just those who were trying to attend a conservative event or a Trump rally. The bullets are flying one way. Recognize it, acknowledge it, change your behavior if you want to see this country truly thrive and democracy to be restored, as you so often claim that you want.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.